The fact I'm a football coach. It's a competitive thing. I despise for people to beat us.
To Elliott, who goes sweeping to the left side. Gets to the 20, loose to the 30, to the 40, down the left side to the 50 goes Elliott. He's going to take it to the house. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. 85 yards. Back is Dorsey to throw. And he throws it in the end zone. It's incomplete. The Buckeyes win the national championship.
It's Everything Buckeye Nation, the voice of the fan, with your hosts, Jake Smith and Corey Boyd.
Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Everything Buckeye Nation show here on EBSN Online. Next to me, as always, Corey W. Boyd, producer G, steering the ship. I'm Jake Smith. What's on everybody's mind? Was there some, I feel like there was some news today.
Yeah, I heard the weather is pretty brisk outside, I heard.
It is a little brisk.
Yeah, nothing much going on. Nothing much going on today.
No, I guess
no
not.
news.
I'm sure folks will let us know in the comments. Appreciate you tuning in. We've got a lot to get to tonight. Ohio State had a fairly disappointing loss. I almost said, I tell you
didn't
what,
we go over this on Saturday?
I guess so. Well, it sort of felt like a loss. Buckeyes took care of business against Minnesota. We'll talk a little bit about that, give our Buckeye leaves out, talk a little bit about college football as a whole, and talk a little bit about this game against Purdue this coming weekend, which I'm worried about. I'm worried about it.
You have every right to be.
Which I never thought I would really say and be honest.
Yeah. That
I actually am worried about Purdue. But here we are, and here we go with Clyde Boyd getting us started here. So, fellas, what is this I hear about Nick Bosa? Corey?
And, there's a lot of sayings, the elephant in the room, the cat out of the bag. I never understood any of those, but that's okay. Why is there a cat in the bag? Why is there
well, he's out now, so
why is there an elephant in
not
the room?
Not to worry.
But, here nor there. Yep, he said it. No more Bosa.
No more Nick Bosa, folks. Let us know, are you upset with Nick Bosa's decision to forego his time with Ohio State and just get ready for the league, get healthy, and make himself a whole heck of a lot of money? Justin Mayfield, Laura BP in here early on. Clyde, of course. Laura Smith, Laura BP, Tisha Smith. The whole gang is with us. Let us know where you're watching from when you make the comment about Nick Bosa. What do you think? Laura says she's not upset, just disappointed. It's funny. Timothy Roberts, I'm happy for him, and it was a smart move. I'm the same with Laura here, and I almost feel like a parent. Like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. You know what I mean? So, if you haven't heard, Nick Bosa has decided to not return to the Buckeyes. He's withdrawing from school and everything, just to focus on rehabbing and getting ready for the NFL draft. It's tough to blame him. It's smart for him, bummer for us, like Tisha said. And Timothy Roberts says he's still projected high in the draft. Really is the best move Nick Bosa could have made for himself.
Yeah, it's great for him, terrible for us. And that's the key. Terrible for us as fans. But for him, it's a brilliant move for him. Now, I think this is where the line gets, it's a gray area for fans, Ohio State fans. Now, everybody outside of Ohio is ranting praise on this move.
Oh, yeah.
Praise. Smart move. The NCAA is not paying you anything. Ohio State earns millions off of you. You secure yourself the bag, the money, the millions. Great move.
Great move.
Now, inside of Ohio, there's mixed emotions.
Yeah.
I've heard sellout, weak move, leaving your teammates in the dust.
And John Awenwick here says he sell out to his teammates. We are seeing a lot of that. It's what are you doing? You're supposed to be a captain. Come back and fight, get healthy, fight for your team. Seeing a lot about that. That's what Laura says. What about the team? Damon Ruppert, I feel like he should still have completed his degree at school. Football will not last forever. Good point. But a $30 million guaranteed signing bonus or his first contract can last him a whole hell of a lot of time. I don't know. It's certainly sad. You know, it's funny. I was coming into the show not super excited to talk about, you know, the Buckeyes win over Minnesota because it was ugly. I got a lot of questions. What the hell are we doing? And then this news drops today. It's just like, damn, dude, it's like a gut punch. You know what I mean? It hurts. I'm hurting.
It is a gut punch. There were some quotes from John, his father, saying that he was playing hurt before he got hurt. And the surgery confirmed that he had, which revealed tears on both sides of, you know, the torso area. So he was playing hurt, and realistically, the time frame is about 12 weeks for this injury to heal. And this decision for him to leave, he had no choice. His season was over.
Well, see, and that's really what it comes down to for me, is if his season is over and he wasn't going to play at all, then I really don't care. You know what I mean? If he wasn't going to play at all, even if we were in the playoffs, because John Bosa said that he would be out until at least mid-December today, if he were to come back, which would put him, you know, right there for the playoffs. And I would selfishly want him to play in those playoffs, but there's a good chance that he wouldn't play in the playoffs anyway. And hell, the way we're playing, we might not get to the playoffs. So if he's going to, you know, if it was going to be December and he wasn't going to finish the season anyway, then I really don't care. I had in my mind that he would come back for the Michigan State game. Mm-hmm. I was hoping, you know, a normal sports hernia will last, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever, and he could be back by early to mid-November. And if he could come back for the Michigan State game, then he should, and he will, because he's a captain and he loves playing for the Buckeyes. And evidently, that's not the case. And so I feel a little bit better that he is, you know, just withdrawing from everything. He's not going to class. I can't blame him. He's not getting his degree. Why go to class? I wouldn't be going to class if I were him. But it's upsetting. We got a lot of comments here. What are you looking over there?
I'm just reading a couple of them. Sally says, great move. Wish him great success. Laura says he could stay and support the team even if he didn't play. Brandon says Urban Meyer will turn it into fuel. John says how many of his teammates will pay his money lost if he got hurt again?
That's a good point, John.
And Lee Travis, we can't afford any more injuries. And Frankie says it's Ohio State. What do you expect we are?
I must be a Penn State fan saying we are. Frankie, back-to-back L's. What are you doing in our comment section, man? You're asking for it. Natasha says no loyalty. Alan Russell, we're fine. Next man up. Looking at you, Chase Young. A lot of good mentality, I think, in the comments section here. I mean, basically, it comes down to this, and I was having this conversation with a buddy earlier. If you knew for a fact, if you didn't screw anything up, if you didn't re-aggravate anything or do anything to hurt yourself in the next 6 months, and you get a guaranteed $30 million payday, put yourself in those shoes, and loyalty doesn't really come into, you know, it doesn't come into my mind at all. It's a no-brainer. It's a smart choice for Nick Bosa. He certainly made the right choice for him. As a diehard Buckeye fan, it hurts. I'm bummed.
It hurts.
I'm bummed because I was so excited. I thought when he comes back, it'll take so much pressure off the defense, and we'll, you know, ride him to a national title.
It's one thing that I do, like it or not, I'm going to keep it real.
Do it.
If you hit me with some truth serum and I had to spew the truth all over this microphone, I hear the next man up. I get it. That's the mentality. But let's be real.
Let's do it.
There's no other Nick Bosa on this team.
No.
Doesn't matter. There's no other Nick Bosa on that defense.
Can't replace him.
And we have seen the past couple of games, the defensive line is not the same without Nick Bosa. It's just not. And now that we know he's not coming back, now it could work two ways. Maybe they go, okay, you don't want to come back? Maybe there's another level they can get to. Or opposing teams are like, okay,
So this is how it's going to be.
we can see how to attack them now.
Sure.
So next man up, I understand the mentality, but he was regarded as the best player in college football. Not the best defensive player, the best player in college football. You can't just replace that. Not the best player. He's not going number 1 overall in the draft for a reason.
Yeah.
So you can't replace that. So we need to remember that.
And it's going to be very difficult, obviously. And like you said, everybody's saying next man up. That's great. That's a great idea to have. But you can't replace him. Now, you can't have the next man up, and hopefully he can play to the, really over his ceiling in order to try to replicate Nick Bosa's production. But it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Chase Young's been playing very well. But now you got Jonathan Cooper dinged up. And we were already... We already had a lack of depth at the defensive end position after losing Hubbard, Lewis, and Holmes last year.
So like I said, I don't fault him at all, not one bit. Because listen,
can't. If we were in that,
listen, you got $20 million on the line. I don't fault you, but as a fan, of course, I'm bummed.
Yeah,
it's our best player. Of course, I'm going to be bummed. I'm not going to say, well, phooey, I don't care. Who cares? Phooey. Next man up. We don't need him. We don't care. I ain't going to sit around and act like that. But I'm not going to sit here and, dog him and go, how could you?
How could you?
How could you just disrespect
quit on your team?
Disrespect the whole state of Ohio. How could you leave us high and dry? Who cares about your torso? You'll be okay. Take some Advil.
But
I'm bummed. Yes, I'm bummed because I knew what the potential that defensive line could be with Bosa 100%, and we only got to see it a little bit. We only got to see it just a little bit, and that's it.
It really, what 2.5 games? And he was clearly the best player in the country in those 2.5 games. I mean, he was preposterous. He had stats. He just had unbelievable stats, and certainly unfortunate that this is how it had to happen. This is how he had to go out. His brother was kicked out of a game for targeting in his final game, and now the younger brother, Nick, gets hurt and is not coming back. Some of the comments here. Tisha says, worries me for the rest of the season. Kevin Bryant, I love him, but I think he needs to stay. He hasn't played one full season. He needs to. Jared Brandon, smart move. Totally fine with me. Got to root for the team as a whole. Certainly, we're not jumping off that bandwagon. Andrea says, I wish him the best, but while he's recovering and getting strong for the draft, I wish he would stay on the sideline, complete the season with the team. I like that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why necessarily you got to withdraw, but, the Bosa family has a lot of power, and they know a lot of doctors. I mean, his doctor that performed the surgery is the best surgeon for core muscle injuries in the world. And he got that because, he's a Bosa.
Right.
I'm sure they've got rehab facilities they want to use. And it's a shame. I would have loved to see him on the sideline. Kerry says if they were in his shoes, they'd make the same decision. He'll be missed. I wish nothing but the best for him. And Kevin says he picked national championship over money. It's easy for me to say.
Yeah, that's easy.
Maybe because I grew up 5 minutes from the shoe, and I love the Ohio State football team more than. I'll just stop there before I get in trouble with family. But
yeah,
hey.
Hindsight's 20/20. It's easy to say that now.
Yeah, I don't know. It really is a bummer. And Kevin Bryant says, let's be real. He can't stay healthy. I saw a lot of people talking like,
yeah,
Joey's been hurt a ton in the pros.
Joey hasn't played
Nick's
all year.
Been dinged up.
Joey hasn't played all year.
No. Maybe the Bosa brothers
Maybe they got that injury gene.
Fragile.
They got that injury gene.
I mean, John barely played in the pros. His father and their uncle, Eric Kumro, who's a Buckeye legend at linebacker. he didn't play very much either. So what do you got?
Kevin Bryant says his parents need to make one more Bosa for us.
Well, I mean, come on. I'm sure Urban's calling him up like, hey, John, you got any more relatives down there? Rob says, no sense in crying over it. I understand.
I don't see tears, just a little.
I'm not crying.
Just a little
I felt like it earlier.
Just a little disappointment, but no tears.
I thought he would come back and our defense would gel together right at the end of the year and peak right at the right time and knock off the Crimson Tide for the title, which still could happen. But it's going to be a lot harder without Nicky Bosa back there.
You know who's happy right now?
Who's that?
That team up north.
Oh, yeah.
They are partying.
They're like, that's a great choice for him. Oh, I mean, you can't fault him for that, right? They got a big one on their hands against the Spartans this weekend. That'll be a fun one to watch. But it's tough. It really is tough. Randy Russell, it's sad to see, but he was hurt bad and had a major surgery. Wasn't going to be back soon enough. There you have it. I mean, if he, like his father, John Bosa, said, if he was really out till mid-December,
he said 12 weeks.
He probably wouldn't risk it to come back unless we were in the playoffs, and even then it would be a tight call.
To be himself, too. Not just be on the field.
Right.
The athlete that he is, he doesn't want to be 70%, 75%. He wants to be himself. So we have to look at that, too. Like I said, disappointed, but it is what it is now. So now our defense really has to step it up. Because we have looked very, very, very suspect against the pass and against the run at points. And now we know, at least we know, there is no Bosa to save us. It is on the guys that we have.
And who knows, maybe, like you mentioned earlier, maybe the guys in that locker room will think, all right, there's no Superman coming back to rescue us. We got to do this ourselves. Let's go. And they step it up a notch. Boy, would I love to see that. I mean, they need to step it up. Defense, every position group, really, on the whole team, minus quarterbacks and receivers probably, need to seriously step their game up. Gosh, it's...
And play calling.
Play calling.
Yes. Play calling needs to step it up. Let's get a little creative. It's time to get the creative juices going. I can tell you what's going to happen on first down.
Yeah.
We're about to hand the ball off. There's no creativity going on with play calling.
I mean, we ran the ball as a team 32 times and had 92 rushing yards. What the heck? 2.9 yards per carry against Minnesota?
Pathetic.
That is pathetic.
It's pathetic. And I know we won the game, and I understand. Now, on the reaction show, I was a little emotional because I'm an emotional fan, and I tell people that. I was like, we are terrible, 30-14. How do you only beat Minnesota 30-14? You are absolutely terrible. And then after I did that, all these teams in college football start losing.
Yep.
I said, boy, do I look stupid. I look stupid because every team started losing, and it made a point is, hey, a win is a win. At the end of the day, maybe I'm a little spoiled.
Survive in advance.
But still, it's Minnesota.
I mean, you're right. If the team that played against Minnesota were to go up against Alabama, any of the top 5 teams, I think we'd get waxed. I mean, hell, I'm nervous about this game Saturday night against Purdue. I never thought that would happen. What's up, G? You got something to say over there?
Yeah, I just wanted to appreciate everybody who's been tuning in and leaving tons of comments tonight. We appreciate everybody. If we don't get your comment, keep it coming. We'll try to see which ones are coming in because there's just too many. But I definitely want to give some shout-outs to Josh Lane, Randy Russell, Andrew Madewell, Carrie Lynn, Emmanuel Favors, Juan Woodford, all you guys commenting, Alan Blake, Charles Stone, leaving comments. We appreciate that. And just hang in there with us. We're trying to come around to everybody's comments for you.
Opinions and emotions are high today.
Yeah.
It's losing a caliber of Nick Bosa that really hurts the defense. And it's just, like I said earlier, it was like a gut punch. I read the news at work today. I was like, man, really?
When you first see that alert, you're like, hopefully this is fake.
Yeah, fake news. If only. Now, here's an interesting one. Thomas Vosberg says he should pay Ohio State back. He took a scholarship away from somebody else. Corey?
You want to take that one?
Well, I don't know about that one. I think the university and the football team in particular have made a whole hell of a lot of money off of the Bosa brothers. And, maybe he writes a $25,000 donation check after he signs his pro contract where he'll probably be a top 3 pick, top 5 pick. Could go number 1. I saw a ton of scouts today. After this news came out, a bunch of NFL draft folks on Twitter were like, he's my number 1 player.
Yeah.
And that's not changing because he's withdrawing from the program.
And that's why he's doing exactly what he's doing. Andrew says, do you think he does well in the pros or does he get injured right away? It's hard for me to tell as far as the injury, but I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah, I think he will too. He'll bring we saw what he brought to our defense. And I looked this up a little bit ago. I think the worst, providing there's no setback, I think the worst he could fall to would be number 5. It's a long ways away from the NFL draft. But let's even look at Bradley Chubb out of NC State, now a Denver Bronco, was the 5th pick in the draft, and a defensive end, just like Nick. He signed his 4-year contract for $27.5 million, all guaranteed. And if you told me that I just had to stay healthy and not screw anything up for 6 months and I'd get $27.5 million guaranteed, sign me up. Sign me up,
you up. Sign you up. Emmanuel Favor says, we ready. And Juan Woodford says, y'all sound dumb.
Oh.
I hoped he would have stayed so we won't hear the excuses come November. Now, I don't remember us saying, hey, I am glad that guy is out of here.
Also, season's over.
Yeah. Thank you. He is gone. Woo. No, all we're saying is it sucks he's gone, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I wanted him to come back like this week against
Purdue.
You seen Purdue's quarterback in that freshman receiver?
Rondale Moore, man. I mean, Ohio State recruited him. He was committed to Texas for a little bit. He's a Kentucky kid, believe it or not. I'm a little worried about Ohio State Purdue, folks. Let me know what you think here in the comments section. I'm getting all the way up here. I'm way behind.
As a reminder to everyone too, we are live here every Tuesday night. So if this is your first time watching, make sure that you check back in every Tuesday night. Turn on your notifications. If you like this video, give it a like and share. Share it into your favorite Buckeye groups, Facebook groups. Also, you can find us on YouTube, and you can listen back as well on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. And you can find all that information at ebsnonline.com.
Yes, sir. Laura says she's worried too. Tony says, stop hating on Nick Bosa. If he wouldn't have got hurt, he'd be playing all year, but he has to think about his career. Now, no sense in staying here playing for free, and our motto is next man up.
There you go.
I think I'm going to get me a shirt that says that.
Next man up.
Next man up.
Well, and I've seen a lot of comments about the recruiting. I mean, the amount of talent on this team is second to none, maybe Alabama. I mean, I think they're probably right there with the amount of talent, how we've recruited over the last 7 years since Urban Meyer got here. So the talent is there. And if we were going to lose a great player at any position, I think that I would prefer it to be on the defensive line so that Larry Johnson can coach that boy up. And, because I think he's the best position coach on the team. So if we were going to need somebody to step in and fill a role, I guess I'm glad it's on the defensive line of all positions because Larry Johnson's the best in the business. And yeah, Laura says we're spoiled. We sure are.
Yes, we are. And I admit it. I will admit it. I am spoiled. I will admit it. But it's okay.
And here's Charles Stone says, I'm upset that he decided to go to the NFL. Buckeyes need to step up on offense and defense and special teams if they want to go to the national championship. I mean, we've got a long way to go.
Ooh, yeah, buddy.
For the playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean,
buddy.
just the way we've looked in the past few weeks is like, who is this team? We thought the hangover game against Indiana was because of the emotional win over Penn State. We knew we probably wouldn't have a big, coming out party against Indiana as well. So I thought we'd get it all. I thought we would right the ship against Minnesota. And then I think we looked worse against Minnesota than we looked against Indiana. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? Now we got to face Purdue, an offense who ranks 7th in the country in passing. They have a ton of talent, and Jeff Brom, their head coach, is outstanding.
And that's what scares me.
Yeah.
Their passing is 10 times better than Minnesota's.
Yep.
On paper and on the field. So that
you go from a
that
true
worries
freshman
me.
quarterback from Minnesota to a fifth-year senior
senior
at Purdue who's been around the block.
And then a true freshman receiver who seems like he's been around the block.
Rondale Moore plays
Good
like he's been around the
gracious.
block.
And Arnett is
too.
questionable.
If Arnett's questionable, that may work in our favor.
I mean, just saying. And Juan wanted to clarify his comment. He said, I said Michigan fans are happy is why I made the comment. Honestly, wouldn't doubt if see Gary again. Well, let me clarify.
Okay.
I've seen Michigan fans on my timeline pumped about this. So that's why I made that comment. Pumped up.
Their star defensive end, Rashawn Gary, is also dinged up, and he could make the same call because he is a guaranteed top 10 pick.
And we've seen it happen. Clowney. So
he didn't play at all.
Right.
What, his senior or his final year?
Yeah. So we've seen this happen. But as a fan, you have a right to be disappointed. But he did what's best for him.
He did what's best for him.
It is what it is.
That's all.
Purdue, man, you're right. That passing game scares the living crap out of me. And you know they are going to fling it down the field. They know our DBs don't turn their head. They are going to take some deep shots at our DBs, and they're going to test them early.
And why not? I mean, we
often.
haven't shown an ability really to prevent that or shut that down. I don't know what happened to the best in America. Cody Hunter says, is the Purdue game a trap game? I don't think it's a trap game. I'm worried about this game. I think the staff is worried about this game. They've got a lot of work to do. Really, I want to escape West Lafayette and Ross-Ade Stadium. I want to get out with a win. People stay healthy. We've got the bye week, and then we can just chill, figure it out, and then start the final third of the regular season in 2 weeks.
And the key to me is those first couple defense of possessions and first couple of offense possessions for us. Those are the scripted plays.
Yep.
On defense, you're going to get Purdue's scripted plays. This is what they practiced. What is our defense going to do? And then on offense, this is our scripted plays. Go out and execute. I don't want to see any 3-and-outs. Obviously, we can't afford to see any 3-and-outs.
Right.
Especially how good our offense should be at this point. Like, I was disappointed in our offense, too. There's no way we only should have scored 30 against Minnesota.
Weak.
Very weak.
Weak sauce. 3 touchdowns and 3 field goals. Shout out to Blake Hawbill for jumping in and place kicking on a last-second notice. Sean Nurnberger hurt himself in warm-ups. Hawbill came in and drilled 3 field goals, including a 47-yarder. That's nice to see. But, I don't know. Shelly Wentz says, we are not playing like a number 2 team. We need to come out strong, just like you said. And Kevin Bryan says, we need a new playbook to win the college football playoff. Good point from Rick DeSantis here. Still look better than we did in 2014 at this point.
He's right.
He is right.
I've seen the numbers on that, and actually our numbers are better than the 2014 team.
We got a ways to go. We just got to get better each and every week. Now, what I'm worried about is we didn't look better this past week than we did the week before or the week before that, and that's what worries me. That 2014 team, you could see something building, a giant building, and then we go into Michigan State in the first weekend of November and beat them under the lights in their stadium. And it was like, all right, this team's for real. And we'll get that chance. We will play at Michigan State in the second week of November. So we'll see. We've got a long ways to go, folks.
Michael Egan says, Purdue is getting smacked. Mark my words. Shelley agreed with Michael. I agree. He should help pump up the defense. Timothy says, then the first playoff ranking during the bye week. And Eddie Stat said he has Purdue in an upset 35-31.
Oh, God.
And then he said sorry after it.
Eddie,
You don't have to say sorry. Just leave the 35-31. Don't give me a sorry after it. Just leave it there, Eddie. Leave it there. It hurts, though. It does hurt.
Jimmy Walford, the back seven isn't nearly as good as 2014, though. Josh Lane makes a good point. Adversity makes us stronger. And that's what I'm really hoping for. And Paige King says we should not rely on one player. And that is what we or the media have done.
And what player is that?
Well,
is it Haskins?
Or
is it Bosa?
Well, in this situation, I'm thinking it's Nick Bosa.
Okay.
The last few weeks, our defense has looked like garbage.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, when Bosa gets back, he'll be getting double teams, which means Chase Young's free, Draymond Jones is free, Robert Landers is free, and he's clogging up that. The linebackers will play better, and he'll get more pressure, so the secondary will look better. And I've kind of been just waiting, like, all right, and I've said this on the show for the past few weeks, we can get through Indiana, Minnesota, Purdue, Nebraska, clearly. But when it comes to Michigan State and the Wolverines and hopefully the Big Ten title game,
we need Bosa.
We need Bosa, or we need our defense to look a hell of a lot better than they do. And losing Bosa is like, damn, that one hurts. There, Allen Russell gives us some good stuff here. Buckeyes roll 45-14 over Purdue. I would take it. I would take it
Sign
in
me
a
up.
heartbeat. Sign me
up for that. Brandon says, I think we have looked better in the second half of games.
Wow.
And Paige did reiterate it is Bosa. And Shelly Wentz says we are a second half team.
Shelly and Brandon are on the same wavelength.
They have, but we can afford to do that, especially on the road. Purdue coming off a shellacking of Illinois, confident, have nothing to lose in this game. Absolutely nothing. The number 2 team in the nation. We can't afford to get down, 2 scores. Oh, we'll be better in the second half.
That's a funky place
can't
to
afford
play,
to do
too.
that, especially at Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Once you give a team confidence, that's the worst thing you can do because all bets are off.
And their head coach, Jeff Brom, said today on the Big Ten teleconference, we hope to keep it close and go into the second half, keep it close, and go from there, see what happens. And that's exactly what I don't want to see. I want to be up 21 points at halftime. I want to be up 28 points. Hell, 17 points. I want it to be a 3-score game at halftime. And I will feel comfortable.
I want to get to the point where we're back to they're one-dimensional, where the offense is one-dimensional, and that's when we are at our best on defense. When we still have to worry about the run, worry about the play action, they're at third and manageable. You don't know what they're going to do. That's when they eat us alive. But if we can get up on them and they have to pass the ball because our strength is our defensive line, even without Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
That's our strength.
Yeah.
That's what we are built around. Get pressure on the quarterback, make them get rid of it. But when we get in these tight games and they can do whatever they want, run games opened up.
Creative play calling. Why does everybody else have creative play calling?
Oh, my goodness. Don't get me started.
All right.
I'm like, why can't we do that?
Why can't we do that? Josh Lane brings some more positivity in here. Remember that time we lost all of our quarterbacks and lit everybody up with our third-string quarterback? I do. We all know what happened. Go Bucks.
I do, too.
Thank you, Josh.
Let's bring it full circle.
There is a lot of football to be played here, folks, and we wouldn't have Nick Bosa for at least another month. So if he were staying, which he's not. So get over it, beat Purdue, take care of business. I mean, if the Nick Bosa thing didn't happen today, we'd be in here talking the same talk we are about Purdue. Like,
exactly. There would be no difference.
No.
I wouldn't be like, well, no. Purdue's passing game scares me. It just does, because our defense has not shown the consistency to stop the pass. Now, I know we only gave up 14 points to Minnesota. I know. I get it. But
we shut him out in the second half.
We still gave up too many yards for it to be Minnesota, in my opinion.
Let's wrap up the Minnesota talk here, shall we? Because it's funny. We've done the same thing for the past 2 or 3 weeks here. Dwayne Haskins had an absolutely unbelievable game, and we haven't mentioned it in 40 minutes. Dwayne Haskins, 33 of 44, 412 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. The kid is ridiculous. Now, here's something I was not happy about. 9 carries. Now, a couple of those, he
The play broke down.
He'll slide. That's going to happen. But that should only happen, a couple times a game?
Yeah.
3, 4 carries for Dwayne Haskins? 9 carries?
For
only had 6 yards.
Yeah. I like your bold little note there. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Every time I see him run, and it was something Urban Meyer said today, a lot of his run-pass options turns into pass, and a lot of the runs turns into passes. It's different than, when we had J.T. Barrett. Listen, get more creative. J.T. Barrett is gone. It's over. Find ways to get Weber and Dobbins the ball instead of Hutt handoff.
Here you go.
You got to switch it up. How about some tosses? How about some reverses? How about throwing him a screen pass? Wow.
Worked against Penn State.
It worked. Switch it up. Every time they're in the shotgun, what is it? Just a regular handoff up the middle.
Inside zone.
It's
every
time. So if I'm a defense, I'll be able to stop the run too, because now nobody's worried about the quarterback. Not one person is worried about Haskins running the ball, so of course it's going to make it tougher on Dobbins and Weber to run. You have to switch it up.
I mean, it's just been boring. No, it's been very stale. Few comments in here. Shelly wants in here. Tony Mann, Cody Masteller, Nick Ansick, perhaps. Anchick? Not sure. Charles Warren, what's up? Thanks for tuning in.
What's up, Charles? Haskins for mayor. I see you, Charles. Okay.
Haskins for mayor. I like that one. Eddie Stats, Brandon Canfield. We'll get to some of these comments as well, but it's very strange that Haskins throws for 412 yards and 3 touchdowns. We only scored 3 touchdowns in the whole game. I mean, 412 yards. Now, the defense is a problem, and I wrote down here that we played without 6 of our normal starters. Obviously, Bosa was gone. Malik Harrison and John Cooper didn't play. And Draymond Jones, Robert Landers, and Damon Arnett are all banged up and didn't play a whole lot. So anytime you're missing over half your starting lineup on defense, you're going to have problems. But as we've said this entire show, next man up, the scheme seems to be an issue. And the angles that our safeties are taking on tackles, what the hell's going on? I'm not sure, man. I thought the Minnesota game was supposed to be the get over, the hangover Indiana game, but I guess not. We got to come out and look sharp. What do you got over there?
Jimmy Wolfer says, Dobbins has shown he can make tough catches, and he's a good route runner for a running back. Yes, he has. He's had a couple one-handed snags that I've seen.
Yeah, on the wheel routes.
Yeah, so he can catch the ball. I don't understand why they don't use him. Brandon, like he said, we said earlier, they shut him out in the second half. I seen one and Josh Lane says, bring Tate in on short yardage or red zone. Now, you heard me in the beginning of the year. I am an honest person.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to hear none of that.
Nope.
I don't want a 2-quarterback system.
Nope.
It's stupid. I don't want to hear it. Now, middle of the season, I'm like, well,
sometimes you got to make adjustments.
Well, sometimes you're wrong. And I could admit when I'm wrong. Listen, if you love the run pass option so much, and you have a quarterback that can do it, and it will change up the look of the defense, look what Baltimore does in the NFL. They bring in Lamar Jackson with Flacco on the field.
Yeah.
You can do that. Give them something to look at. And if that's something they have in their playbook, stop saving it.
Give it a shot.
It's okay to show it. It's okay. You can do it, because inside the red zone, that's when things get tight. That's when throwing windows are smaller. It's harder to throw inside the red zone. And if you know it's just going to be a regular inside zone to the running back, it's harder to run. So if that is a package we have, I know earlier I was screaming and ranting that it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But, hey, I'm willing to change my mind. Bring them in. Give them a different look. It won't hurt anything. I promise.
No, it really won't. And like you said, if Urban is so set on running the read option for success, bring Tate in. That's all he did in high school. I mean, hell, last year as a redshirt, when he was redshirting, the first team defense would play and say after practice, I can't tackle him. We can't tackle him. So I wouldn't be upset to see Martell put in the game for a running situation, or hell, throw the ball. He can. But I would be surprised.
Oh, I would be
because
shocked.
Urban
I would fall out of
is
my
the
chair.
most stubborn head coach I think I've ever seen. I mean, hell, even Tressel would mix it up every once in a while. Do something to make you like, wow. Okay.
I would fall out of my chair. And Shelly Wentz, Shelly Wentz, please let me know where you are making this comment from. Hurry up offense. What happened to that?
You know
It's what everybody wants to know, I think, in Buckeye Nation. When we hurry up, oh my goodness, it works.
And nobody can stop it.
And then we just put it in the back pocket. We'll save that for another 3 games from now.
You know, it was great when it just so happened to go away when we started playing Tulane. I don't know what happened there, if there was some sort of coaching change or whatnot after 3 games, but first 3 games, a lot of up-tempo, a lot of...
And when Urban first got here, what did he say? I want to play fast.
Yep.
I want to play fast. I want to go fast. I want to go. And now we're like one of the slowest teams I've seen.
I mean, there's nothing worse than we're on a roll, and we'll go hurry up for a couple plays, and then we'll get up to the line, and then we'll stop, and everybody turns and is looking, and they're kind of turning back and still looking, and the defense is getting lined up. They're catching their breath, and then we hit them with a little inside zone for 2 yards. It's like, bro.
And that's another way to help out your defense. We're complaining about the defense. The defense is terrible. They can't stop anything. They can't stop the pass.
point.
The DB. Well, if you put points on the board, do you know how much pressure that puts on the opposing offense? If you know, man, if we give this ball up to the other team, all they're going to do is go down that field and score. It makes it a lot easier on the defense.
Yep.
Then you don't feel, man, we got to stop this team because I don't know what our offense is going to do. If you know your offense is just that potent, it makes life that much easier on the defense. And we have the weapons to do it.
Oh, baby. We've got a hot take alert
Uh-oh.
in the comments.
Uh-oh.
Nick
Uh-oh.
Anchik, I'll be happy when
Oh.
Urban is gone after this year.
Oh.
Woo!
Oh.
That is spicy. Spicy.
Where is he
spicy,
making that
spicy.
comment from? Let us know, Nick. Do you have inside information? Or are you speaking with emotion? Did you get a text or a tweet? Let me know, Nick.
Urban hit him up. Hey, brother, just letting you know.
And Carrie's replying to Nick and said, "You're crazy." Ooh. So now we have a little urban debate going on in the comments.
He's already got the wow emoji on there. Well,
Jimmy's from St. Louis. Shout out to Jimmy in St. Louis. Gotta love it.
hell yeah. Tell Zeke I said what up.
And Josh Lane, I can't believe it took me this long, and I didn't even do it. Josh Lane brought it up.
Oh, my
that
gosh.
freaking quick slant. I was ready to throw my controller out of the window, hit a neighbor's car, pay for the damage because I was so upset. Quick slant, flip the play, quick slant, call a timeout, you're tired, quick slant again. And we couldn't stop it. Now,
It's
I
like
know
they're calling Madden.
it was only 14 points, but didn't it seem like just every play?
It's like, aren't we supposed to play an aggressive man coverage press defense? Where was that? Because then, I mean, you play on the inside. You don't give up the inside as a DB. You play the fade, and then you don't turn your head, and then you get a flag called on you. But this time, it's like it's almost like we were overcompensating for that and trying something new, not making the adjustment. They just hit 10-yard slants, 10-yard slants, 10-yard slants.
And now I know what people are saying. What are you to criticize? You don't play football. Who are you? Well, you know, you're right. But this is what they do for a living. This is what they practice every day in practice. And if you see the same play for 10 times, okay, come on. The same play. I called the play before it happened. I said, man, he's throwing a slant to him on top of the screen. And that's what he did. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
A lot of good comments in here. Let's see. Charles Warren says Ohio State 103, Purdue nothing. He actually says donut.
What did he say the score was?
103-0.
Who said that?
Charles Warren,
Charles Warren.
our guy.
103-0. If that happens,
You take my spot up here, Charles.
you can come on. You can have my shirt, my hat, and that's it. Take over, Charles.
Stevie Maggs need the defense to clean up quickly. Rick DeSantis, if Urban leaves, so do all these top 5 recruiting classes. I'm not 100% sure about that. We'll see. Nick doubling down on Urban says it's not crazy, just facts. He will have a health condition coming very soon. It's possible.
I'm not even laughing at that. Scott Thomas said it was like Jerry Rice and Tecmo Bowl.
Wow. Just unstoppable. Lisa Pierce tunes in. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, if you are watching, we appreciate you. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, all of the above. Let us know where you are watching from.
And the newly designed ebsnonline.com, where we are streaming live right now.
That's fancy.
It's a beautiful website.
J.E. Wags, only beating Minnesota by 16 felt like a loss. I started the show and said the Buckeyes came away with a close win over Minnesota. It's wild, man. It really is wild. But there were some positives that came out of the game. I'll read it. Obviously, Haskins was ridiculous. KJ Hill was a man amongst boys. My guy, dude.
He
did
it 1 week too late. He was my bold prediction the week before, and then he did it the week after. I said, I just can't get him right.
9 grabs, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns for KJ Hill, including that one-handed grab. Boy, that was nice.
I think he still has the ball.
He might. Jordan Fuller had 12 tackles. Pete Werner, I'm really starting to love this kid. 10 tackles, 2.5 for loss. Kendall Sheffield and Isaiah Pryor, each with an interception. Us three made our bold predictions last week, and they were all garbage, so we don't need to spend too much time focusing on those.
I think mine was the worst because I swear it was like play 3. They just bust open a big play. I said, well, there goes the 30 yards right down the drain. I said, goodness gracious.
Oh, well, let's award our Buckeye leaves for players of the game. Let me talk about my guy here, KJ Hill.
You go ahead.
I got to give mad props to KJ Hill. He might be the most clutch receiver on this team, and he is extremely versatile. He can line up outside, inside. He could take carries. I mean, KJ Hill is, he returns punts. He's very safe. He's reliable. He's versatile. 9 catches, 187 yards, 2 scores, another ridiculous game. I mean, he's just been making plays since he flipped here. He flipped his commitment from Arkansas to Ohio State on National Signing Day a few years ago, and I was one happy son of a gun.
Sign up for that.
And KJ Hill he continues to make plays. He had a couple third down grabs last year in the game against the Wolverines. Haskins found him on third down to continue the drive. A couple times he had 10 or 12 catches against Penn State last year in the comeback. He's been all over the place this year, making play after play after play. I love KJ Hill.
There's one thing that I didn't expect to happen in this season is I thought his third down guy was going to be Austin Mack.
Me too.
But it's KJ Hill.
We haven't seen a lot of Mack in the last few weeks.
KJ Hill is becoming his guy. Like when he needs a play, he's looking for number 14, end of story.
Yep.
And I don't mind.
I don't mind either. KJ Hill.
It's becoming KJ Hill and the Paris Campbell show. Those are his 2 top guys at receiver.
And they're both balling. They've got each of them have 550 receiving yards. They're like 3rd and 4th in the Big Ten, respectively. That's what I'm talking about. My player of the game, KJ Hill.
Can't argue with you. Can't argue with you. Laura BP said the Minnesota kicker, ? LOL.
Am I Kawhi Leonard up here?
Brandon Canfield says that one-handed catch was fabulous. Nick says the only positive was we won. Our secondary is trash. Almost time to call for Greg to come to the front of the congregation.
Greg Sheehan.
Chuck says Haskins, they lose that game without him. And Paige says Chase Young looked good as well.
You had Chase Young in your bold predictions. He did look pretty good.
Yeah.
Wasn't stuff in the stat sheet.
Wasn't quite what I said.
Making big plays.
You know.
Did you have you don't have to spend too much time on your player of the game.
Yeah, we know who my player of the game is. I mean, it's coming a, weekly thing here. Dwayne Haskins.
Well, it's also kind of a problem where he's one of our 2 guys performing.
Right.
You take him.
400, what is it, 400 yards?
412.
412.
That's my birthday, by the way.
Oh, 33 for 44, 3 touchdowns, 9 carries for 6 yards. He's our life support on offense. He is our life support on offense.
On offense.
Life support. I don't know what else to say.
J.E. Wag says, if I had another kid, I would name him KJ. I got to think about that.
KJ Hill?
KJ Hill Smith.
Dwayne KJ. Can we just merge them all together?
If they make, if they win the title, or else I'm going to have to go back to Zeke Elliott Smith.
Josh says, and with the first pick in the 2019 draft, the Cleveland Browns select a kicker from Minnesota.
Oh, man, they do need a kicker.
Not that guy.
Good thing Jimmy Haslam bought the crew. Save the crew.
And everybody is loving the celebration from KJ Hill, I believe.
Oh, wasn't that fantastic? He runs into the end zone. He can't get the ball off his hand. It won't come off of his hand. He's using his hand, his feet. Terry McLaurin's holding his hand like, what is going on here? I love the receiver group, man. They have earned this year, man.
Yeah.
They have gotten some serious bad mouthing over the last few years, whether that be their former receivers coach or their play or the quarterback who was throwing in the ball. Now, none of those three are mattering, and they are all having good years. It's very fun to watch.
It is
those
great
guys
to
make
see
big
because
plays.
they got lambasted last year.
Wow.
Lambasted.
Is that your word of the day, Chief?
Word of the day. Lambasted.
Hey, that works.
Victor Bond says, what about Ben Victor on defense? Have a two-way player out of him. Well, I don't know about all that.
He is slower than dirt, man.
I don't know if he go to hit somebody. It might be over.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I
Ben
don't know about
Victor's not
that.
hitting anybody. He's
I
slow.
don't know about
when
that.
he scored against Penn State, he was the slowest.
Yeah.
Man, do you remember J.T. Barrett's 86-yard run against Minnesota?
Yeah.
It looked like that. I was like, man, is this boy is he going to get tackled or what is going on? I don't know about that. I mean, I don't hate the idea of putting an offensive player on defense. Provide a spark a little bit or something, but probably not Victor.
John Goodert says the defense looks very lethargic and lazy on reads. Linebackers must step it up and play disciplined football. Prince needs to be more stable and get the lead out. He's playing like he just had a huge meal before the game and has to go to the restroom.
You know, that's funny that we haven't talked about.
He didn't say the restroom, though.
Oh,
I edited it.
Oh, well, that's nice of you. Who said that?
He said poo, basically.
Who said that?
John Goodert.
Oh, there he goes. There it is. Well, Isaiah Prince, I think I was most disappointed in his play on Saturday. He was getting beat constantly, man. And Carter Coughlin on the edge is an outstanding player. Ohio State wanted him really bad as a recruit, and he stayed in Minnesota because both his parents went there. And he made his pay. I mean, he looked outstanding. But Pryor, man, like what? Or Prince, well, what? I don't understand. He's a captain. He's gotten so much better. He looked like freshman year Isaiah Prince.
Looked pretty bad. He was getting beat. It was to the point now he was like almost false starting every play, and still got beat.
Yeah,
the referee.
They called him a couple times.
The referees were like, "Man, go ahead, you can have it. Go ahead, you can have it.
You need it.
You need it." Scott Thomas made a good point here.
Thanks, Scott.
He said Hartline coaches the players to catch with their hands instead of their body. And he said their routes are way better too.
Brian Hartline deserves a lot of credit for this receiver group as well. Somebody commented that. Justin Rogers. Partial credit goes to Brian Hartline. Absolutely. Ever since he came in, he's brought a ton of energy, and all of a sudden, receivers are playing really, really well, and they're getting separation, which is different because they weren't the past couple years. And Barrett was a quarterback who needed separation to throw the ball.
Oh, did he?
Chuck Roberts says Isaiah Prince was Minnesota's defensive player of the game. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Cody Stein here. Thanks for tuning in, Cody. Says, what is going on with the 2019 recruiting class? Seems to have taken a step back compared to the 17 and 18 class. Supposed to be top 5 class, but only 14 commits in October. Seems like we only might get 20 guys in a top 10 class, not top 5. Definitely a downer year of sorts in the 2019 recruiting class. 2020 is going to be one of the best ever, but definitely a little disappointing. I mean, we lost a tailback. We lost a 4-star tailback, Samson James, who I was pumped about. really mostly because of his name, Samson James.
Samson James.
Tailback. He flipped to Ohio State to Indiana after visiting Ohio State to watch the Indiana game. He's an Indiana kid. But it's kind of strange. I don't know what's going on with the 2019 class. Maybe the whole maybe the Urban Meyer situation just kind of slowed everybody's roll.
Yeah, it could have affected it.
Sean Skelton says Paris Campbell is a safety.
We're getting this.
Well, we know he wouldn't intercept any balls. He can knock them down.
These players are getting some steam on defense, ain't they?
Well, we need some help back there, apparently.
We know he wouldn't get beat deep. You're not getting past Paris Campbell.
Great comment from Chuck Roberts. Says, Ryan Shazier would make a great linebacker coach.
Yes, he would.
Boy, that would make me one of the happiest guys on the earth. I mean, right now, Bill Davis is the head coach or is the linebackers coach, and he is just garbage. He replaced Luke Fickell, which is very, very hard to do. But he hasn't really done a very good job developing, recruiting. We don't seem to be getting stud linebacker recruits, which is okay. We've gotten a few. But Bill Davis hasn't been, developing these kids very well, it doesn't seem like. And he was also in Urban Meyer's wedding, so he's not going anywhere as long as Urban is the head football coach, which Nick Anchik, I think, said Urban's done after this year. I can't wait. So
he also said something. I think he's referring to the Clemson game. We lost 31-0. Is that not all on Urban? I'd say yes. Put any great OC with our talent and see if they don't go 77-8. They might go 77-7 without losing to Iowa last year. He is really on Urban today, isn't he?
Well,
they might not have those players.
They're decent. Well, that's true. That is true. They're decent points. Yeah, Josh Lane says the Zach Smith scandal did not help.
No, it didn't.
Not help. And I saw a comment. John Goddard said, elephant in the room, like you said earlier. What up with Nick Bosa? John, we talked about that a little bit at the beginning of the show. Basically, our thoughts were, we can sum them up here in 15, 30 seconds. Can't fault the kid. Certainly disappointing from a diehard Ohio State fan perspective that he won't be coming back to help this team compete for a national title. But if I were in his shoes and I just had to stay healthy and not risk anything, not get hurt, and in 6 months I'd get a check for $25-30 million, I'd do the same thing.
I want to shout out Carrie Lynn. She is fiery in these comments.
Carrie's been all over the place tonight. Appreciate you, Carrie.
She says they can't win every game, every single game. Stop your crying. You sound pathetic. Oh. She is going Hamlet in the comments.
Hamlet.
She's got Urban's back.
She does. In response to Nick might need some ice for that.
And then Paige says, amen, Carrie. We got a little Urban debate going on in the comments.
Man. Now people are saying, yeah, let's go.
I'm backing up Urban here.
Justin Rogers makes a good comment about Kerry Combs. We are certainly missing him at the cornerback spot.
Yeah.
Well, cornerback coach.
Yeah.
Kerry Combs, hell, after 11 Red Bulls, you probably could be back there playing some TV.
They still didn't turn their head with him, too. But
well,
I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying.
Yeah, Josh says, I get the Bosa decision, but I really don't like it.
That's the thing. I don't like it either. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know what? Yes. Woo!
All right.
I am pumped up. I'm glad that's off my conscience. I can wake up now and know that we have who we have. Yes. Oh.
We're disappointed. Very disappointed.
I'm selfish. I'm spoiled. I want the best team possible.
Sure.
And any fan base would. And if they tell you differently, oh, phooey. That's my word of the day.
I guess so.
Oh, phooey.
What, lambasted?
Lambasted and phooey.
Lambasted.
But
lambasted.
He did what was best for him. What am I going to say? Tape up your torso. You'll be okay.
You'll be fine.
No,
get some stitches.
But I'm spoiled. I want the best team possible so we have a chance to win a title because I am a fan like everybody else.
It hurts, but good for him, and I'll be rooting like hell for him on Sundays. Rick says, great show, guys. Keep it up. See you next week. Appreciate you, Rick.
Come to the Browns. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, I could use him. Everybody wants a piece of Nick Bosa. I bet the Raiders are going to tank for him because Gruden keeps saying we need pass rushers.
You had one.
Good thing you traded away the best pass rusher in the
I'm
league.
not going to rant on John Gruden right now.
Nah.
Dustin says next man up. Daryl says one man does not make the team. Remember Jaquez Green. And Josh says, I guess you got to put yourself in his position.
So, yeah, I mean that's tough, man. One man does not make the team. Remember Jacques Green. I don't, Daryl. I really don't. I don't know who that is. So let me know.
One man doesn't make a team.
And that's his point.
Yeah. One man doesn't make a team, but it can make a difference.
Sure.
Zeke wasn't the whole team, but boy, woo, he was a beast.
He ran for 246 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And you and G would love this comment.
Oh, baby.
Paige says Cowboys.
Wow.
I think she was talking about Bosa, maybe.
Well, Linda said Bosa said he wants to be a Cowboy.
Uh-oh, some steam's picking up. Look at G's all happy over there. Look at y'all just smiling. Just look at y'all. Y'all just cheesing like little kids in the school.
I don't want to turn this into a Cowboys show or something, but the Cowboys are pretty good at pass rusher right now, I'd say. But we do have a DeMarcus Lawrence on a 1-year deal, franchise tag. So, hey, if there's a young guy there who's going to be cheaper than $17, $18 million a year, why not?
Look at that.
But that's if the Cowboys are in a position to take him there. They'd probably end up having to make a trade.
Right. Gee, as I would say, sign me up.
And Dustin says, what do you guys think about Purdue's high-powered offense against our secondary? I am scared.
All right, let's talk Purdue. Let's talk about the Purdue game.
Scared. That's my word. Scared.
That's a good word. All right. The Purdue Boilermakers, hopefully not playing Spoilermaker this Saturday.
Good one.
3-3 on the season. Started 0-3. So they're rolling in hot, and they do have a really, really good offense. They only put up 33.5 points per game, but that was really just the first 3 games they lost. 510 yards per game, including 330 through the air. Their quarterback, their offensive scheme is nice.
I'm so scared. David,
like we're not lying here, folks.
David, I can't even say his last name. Is it Blog? Whatever. Against Missouri.
I think it's Blau. I think it's Blau.
Against Missouri. I know.
Because he's got a cannon on his arm. He's like, bah.
572 yards and 3 touchdowns. Repeat that. 572 and 3 touchdowns.
Put my glasses on here.
Yeah. So, and don't say it's just Missouri. Our DBs are not top of the line. Okay? So, that scares me. But here's the thing. They lost that game. So what does that tell me? We should put up some points.
Oh, yeah.
If you throw for 572 and lose, and then in Illinois, 377 and 3, and they won that game.
Well, they beat the piss out of Illinois last week. Everybody in the comment section is saying it's a trap game. I don't think it's a trap game because I think everybody's aware that we could be in trouble if we don't step up. Like Iowa last year was a trap game because we were like, man, we just beat Penn State. JT Barrett's going to win the Heisman. We're going for it all. We'll take care of business against Iowa.
I think it left the trap game discussion when we struggled and won against Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Indiana came out the way it did. It's a night primetime game at Purdue. Lights will be on. Everybody are watching. Now, if it was a noon game against Purdue and we just blew out Minnesota 66-7, we were rolling, defense looked unstoppable, okay, I could see that. But not now. We struggled. This isn't a trap game. I still don't feel secure.
Sure.
Because our defense. And I seen a comment from, I just missed it.
Uh-oh.
He had mentioned Rondell Moore, the receiver.
Oh, boy.
I missed whoever made the comment. Good comment. J.E. Wags. He said, Moore scares me. Let me tell you. Remember that name.
Rondell Moore, number 4. Purdue actually played Northwestern in the first college football game of the season. Really. I mean, not the very first, but it was Thursday of week 1 where everybody played. And this kid put on a show. He Chuck Roberts.
That's what I'm laughing at.
He said, I'm getting my oxygen tanks refilled for the game. Chuck, best of luck, man. I saw something funny. I bet you think this is funny. I saw it on a college football message board. I'm not exactly sure where it was, but somebody said, I'm glad that they made it a 7:30 at night game, because if it was a noon game on ESPN2 and Beth Mowins was on the call, we'd be losing that game.
I mean, and I agree with the night part of it. Everything means more when it's at night and it's prime time. You can't get caught off guard when everybody's watching you.
Right.
Every single person's watching you. You cannot get caught off guard. So if you just get punched in the mouth, you just got punched in the mouth. No excuses.
Right.
But I'm still scared.
Well, they've got a really high-powered offense. I know J.E. Wags said race to 70. And I hope it doesn't get that high. We'll get to our score predictions here in a little bit. But it's going to be a shootout. I don't know what the over-under is, but take the over. Because Purdue's going to put up points. They're going to put up a lot of points. And Ohio State should be able to put a lot of points up too, because Purdue's defense is really not very good. Their defense has struggled. They've got playmakers, but their pass defense is ranked something like 100th in the country. Mm-hmm. Haskins might throw for another 400 yards. In fact, spoiler alert, it's one of my bold predictions.
Oh. Steven says, my 6-year-old Braxton said we will boil the Boilermakers.
Let's go. Braxton.
All right, Braxton.
Let's go.
I like that name too, Braxton.
Stephen Michael, you're our boy.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in.
John says 42-10 Buckeyes.
I like that.
Sign me up.
Mo Juni, what is up with our offensive line? Good question. Isaiah Prince looked like garbage last week.
I want to comment on that.
Do it.
How do you save your offensive line? Quick passes. If you know he's getting beat, do some quick passes.
Well,
get him out. Extension of the run game. You got people that can make plays in space. Paris Campbell, KJ Hill.
Oh, Paris.
Get him the ball quick. Save Isaiah Prince from himself. Save him from himself. Don't keep dropping back Haskins to look for a receiver and then get him pummeled. Quick passes. Then the defensive end, but okay, they're going to throw it quick. And you change it up. Throw a screen. Ooh.
You mean get creative in the play calling?
What about a draw? Hesitate for a second, then hand it off. They're just teeing off on Isaiah Prince. I can't say poor Isaiah Prince but you know what I mean.
J.E. Wags, Haskins breaks the single game passing yard record. I'd be all right with that. We got to get Schleister out of there for sure. He's a punk.
They're discriminating on my boy Haskins.
Josh said, I'm glad it's a night game. If it was a nooner, I feel like I'd be drunk by 1:30. I probably will be, John. But that's not,
Whoa. Ho, ho, ho.
Uh-oh.
David Hemphill.
Dwayne
Haskins throws 7 touchdowns and throws for 600 yards, but we only win by a touchdown.
Wow.
Now,
there's a Hemp Hill joke with that kind of prediction somewhere around in there.
That almost doesn't feel that bold to me, honestly.
600 yards, G.
600 yards?
That's bold.
No, who's over 600 yards? Look it up.
I'm just saying, you said it yourself. We went 45 minutes, didn't even mention 400 yards, so.
Well,
that's 200 more yards.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm a Haskins guy.
I feel like we would not be surprised if something like that happened.
I would. I'd be a little surprised if it was 600 yards. I ain't going to lie.
I would be surprised if he broke the
600
single game record. I'd be happy.
That's over half of it. I'd be surprised if he did 600 yards. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, 600,
I'll be
yes,
surprised.
but.
That's nothing to just go, oh, well, 600. I'd be surprised.
Alan says, we start clicking this week. Mark it down.
All right, Alan.
Somebody already got it marked down. Somebody said, Paige King says she marked it down. She's got it marked. Thank you, Paige. Come back next week. Say, hey.
Literally marked it down.
I told you.
And Linda says a good question. Do you think RD was just waiting for Bosa to return? ? Maybe they'll buck up now because it's all on them.
Well, we mentioned that a little bit ago. It certainly could be the case that, as coaches like to say, he's not walking back through that door.
He ain't coming on through.
He ain't coming back.
He ain't coming on through.
So, hell, maybe they say, all right, we got to step our game up because we are not playing well right now. And those cats know that they're not playing that well. They know they got to work on it. 30-14 over Minnesota. Come on, man. I said 56-10 was my bold prediction.
Yeah, I was off too. Tim Boswell, Haskins, 450, 5 TDs. We see Tate. How do we see Tate? Is it a blowout or do we get creative?
Oh, God. Chuck better refill his air tanks now because he already said
He better have 2 air tanks.
77-67
Chuck,
Buckeyes.
get 2 air tanks, man. We want to see you next week. Get 2 air tanks. And get me one.
Yeah, I might need one.
I'm going to need one. Man.
Eddie Stats, KJ has 9 grabs, 123, 2 scores. Purdue's tailback Knox, 17 carries, 135, and 3 touchdowns. Eddie's the only person in here picking Purdue.
Eddie. What's up with that?
Come on, Eddie.
Nick says, great show, guys. First time I've seen. Appreciate that, Nick.
Thanks,
we
Nick.
are always here every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., Nick. Everything Buckeye Nation. Give us a like, Nick. Give us a share and turn on those notifications.
Look at this guy. He's a pro. Josh Lane, I would love to see a 2-back set on short yardage and run it down their throats. Where is the 2-back set? Well, I guess that you'd have to be creative to call
Right.
that,
It's
right?
not
I
that
guess.
hard.
I mean,
We
what
have
the
2
hell,
good
man?
running backs. Only one can play at a time. That is a rule. You will not put 2 in at the same time. No. Unless he's the quarterback.
When are we going to get your guys' score and bowl prediction?
9:02. Same.
He said,
I'll go first.
We should do it now and then do it
Yeah.
again before we end.
All right,
I'll go
let's do it
first.
now. Do it
I'll
now.
go first. Bold prediction.
Bold predictions.
I don't think I
Bring it
have
up.
This is bold because our running game has stunk.
Uh-oh.
Not today. Not Saturday.
Not Saturday.
Please don't tell me yours is the same as mine.
Uh-oh.
J.K. Dobbins wakes up Saturday. You remember that look he had against TCU? That look when he ran and he just stared at him like, what? I'm J.K. Dobbins.
He's mean mugging.
Mean mugging.
Got the King James look on
Yeah,
him.
J.K. Dobbins runs for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not giving you the carries because I'm not sure, but
Yeah, that's okay.
157 and 2 touchdowns for J.K. Dobbins. That's my bold prediction.
All right.
Because we ain't seen no 100-yard rushers in a minute. J.K. Dobbins breaks it open for us. Haskins, 373 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's low for him. That's low. That's a mere bag of shells.
That's nothing.
And Ohio State, after all of this defensive bashing I have done, they come together as a collective unit. They rally under Bosa leaving. They hold Purdue to 27 points. And we score 42.
That's a lot.
42 to 27.
I thought you were going to say the defense was going to be like sweet or something.
That is sweet
Well,
for us right now.
Hey, before we
The
get
way
to
we're talking about this high-flying Purdue offense.
Before we get to G or myself bold predictions, got to shout out John Goddard. Great show. First time watching. Won't be the last. Got to poop, and my wife won't let me take my phone to the bathroom anymore. See ya anymore. What happened, John? What did she catch you doing?
That sucks. He's missing bold predictions.
You can't.
Oh, hold it. It's like,
You can't. Oh,
We got 10
man.
minutes left here. Hold on to
John,
it.
we appreciate you, my friend. We'll see you next week, 7:30. Oh, baby, that's good. That is good. Alan Russell, bold prediction. JK and Mike both go over 100. I would love to see that.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
G, what's going on over there, man?
That spoiled mine.
Spoiler makers?
I'm just going to tell you mine now then.
Do it.
Because
It's Alan Russell's fault.
he said Corey mentioned the running game getting it going, and that's why I was wondering if he was going to have mine. But that was mine. Both running backs get over 100 yards in this game. But the defense, though, he said they was going to be playing better, but I think they're still going to be kind of weak. But I'm going to take the Buckeyes 58-28, and
All right.
both running backs, Dobbins and Weber, over 100 yards each rushing.
All right. I like it.
Don't
58-28.
let me down, Dobbins. Do not let me down,
Let
Dobbins.
me down.
So thanks for ruining my bold prediction in there in the
Alan,
comments.
brother.
Clyde says bold prediction, DBs will turn their head around half of the time.
Whoa, that is bold. Easy now.
What half? The first half or the second half?
Hey, just a little side note. Last year, I was right on a bold prediction when I said the same thing. Was it what was it? It was something. It was with Mike Weber and
You
Michigan
said
State.
Weber and Dobbins would both have 100 yards
And
by
it
the
happened.
first half or something.
No, I think I just said for the game, but they ended up getting it in the first half.
Weber had his in the first half. It was against Michigan State.
But neither. It was kind of just like this season. The running game hadn't been doing great yet. Dobbins was doing well, but we hadn't seen both of them do well yet, and it was the breakout game for Mike Weber last year. And I remember that was my bold prediction. Both running backs over 100. It happened in the first half.
I like it. I like it.
Did you see Chuck said Prince won't have any penalties? Did you see that one?
No.
Oh,
J.E. Wag says 0 sacks. And Kerry says, bold prediction, everyone catches their passes, and we score every single time we get in the red zone.
I like that.
hey, that Prince one is kind of bold. No penalties on him?
That would be bold. David Hemphill, Mike Weber will have an Ezekiel Elliott-type game, run for 254 and 3 touchdowns. If we have a healthy Mike Weber, he could do it.
He's always limping.
He is, man. He's always got it.
He is not 100%. You can tell.
Ain't nothing changed but my limp.
Pretty much.
Brian Pence, 2001 Buckeyes versus Purdue. Buckeyes win with less than 2 minutes in the fourth. He's talking about Holy Buckeye. He links it. My only problem, Brian, it was 2002.
Oh, yeah. 2002. And
Still,
Clyde, I think he said second half. Then he said, well, that's another bold prediction. They made adjustments. So he's saying they're going to start turning their head in the second half of the game.
Okay.
All right, let's hear yours.
All right, my bold prediction. We got a lot of comments here. We'll get to it as well. But my bold predictions, Haskins throws for his third consecutive 400-yard game.
Wow.
Paris Campbell with 150 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. There's only been one player ever to throw for 400 yards in a game before Haskins. It was Art Schlichter in 81, I think. And Haskins has done it twice in a row, going for the three-peat against a very, very poor Purdue secondary. I've got the Buckeyes 49-31. The Buckeyes are favored by 14. That should show you how much, everybody's taking it seriously. Everyone's like, who are the Ohio State Buckeyes? Purdue's got a great great offense. Only favored by 14. I've got them covering 49-31. So we shall see. And, I got to say, Alan Russell apologized for stealing your bold prediction there.
That's all right. We're the voice of the fans, so it's his platform too.
Nick says he has $50. Both get 100 yards each too.
Oh, someone else said what?
Nick said I got $50. Both get 100 yards each too.
It sounded like you said Nick Boza said they both get 100
Nick.
yards each.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa in the comment section.
Changed his mind. He wants to change positions.
Get this guy an abdominal muscle. Oh, man. That would be nice. Yeah, second half. They just made the adjustments. Scott Thomas said, Kenny Guyton game. Holy Buckeye. These guys always give us trouble. That being said, 45-14 Buckeyes. That's bold, man. That is bold. Jim Walford, Buckeyes 48-17. Jim also commented earlier regarding Nick Bosa. We did cover that at the beginning of the show. It's just a few minutes ago. We might wrap it up. We are ending the show here in about 6 minutes or so. So I might close something out there for you, Jim, as we go through these bold predictions here. Robert Collins, bold predictions, cold weather temperatures, mid-30s, Buckeyes 21-17. The defense gets a turnover and wins the game. That would be too close for comfort, as they say, but
yes, it would.
Definitely possible. Definitely possible.
And Vegas would be very upset.
BJ Murray, 56-17. Laura BP says, let's just get a win. I'm with you, Laura. We got I was saying this earlier in the show. After this game, we got the bye week. Get out of here with a win.
Yeah, you have to win going into a bye week.
No major injuries. Move on.
Yes, I can't think about it all week.
Oh, my gosh. If we
That's
have
the
2
worst.
weeks to talk about a loss to Purdue.
The stew on it.
Ugh.
I will not be a happy camper.
No. Brandon Canfield says, our defense will force a turnover and score on it. Maybe Chase Young deflection for a pick 6. I'd be all right with that. Sign me up, if you will.
if you will.
Paige says you can never say they because it's not apples to, and it just left me.
Well, yeah.
It's not apples to apples comparing the older ones with the new. They did not play as many games, played harder games in the beginning, etc. But he is amazing. I don't know who they're talking about, but
Having a good quality conversation in the comments.
yes, very good conversation. Just thought I'd read that.
Nick with the heat yet again. Fire Urban if we lose. Scott Thomas says, my son is on E-Row in the best damn band in the land. Shout out to the best damn band in the land.
Shout out Scott's
Indeed.
son on the band.
Scotty Jr. Just guessing.
You just guessing?
Yeah, sure. Could be.
Let me tell you, when the band comes on the field, the fans go crazy. They lose their mind.
Our band is unbelievable. Did you see the video of them flossing?
Yeah, I seen it.
That is wild, man.
seen it.
I mean, I can't even do that. And they choreographed like, what, 150 people to do it? Make up 3 guys? Wow. That is wild. My guy, Jason Daniel, Ohio State slaps them 40-3. Haskins to KJ on the big play.
40-3.
Boy.
If the defense lets them get, I will come in here and I don't have to apologize to everybody.
Hey,
And
we
I'm
can
fine.
do that.
I'm fine with that. I already roasted myself once on the Brown show. I will roast myself again with no problem.
Yes, sir. Oh, 40-3. Sign me up.
And Nick and Carrie still going at
Actually, I
it.
didn't mean to do that.
You want to sign him up? Nick says, Carrie, you must really love that dude. I think talking about Urban Meyer.
Hey.
They are going back and forth on the Urban Meyer train. Nick hates him. Carrie loves him.
I don't think Nick hates Urban. He just expects
Oh,
more.
he hates him. No, I'm playing.
Make sure you guys jump in here and have an argument like that every week.
Every week. We
Tuesday
love the
night.
argument. And I'll play mediator.
Jim Walford said, I remember the good old days when we didn't have a bye week. Not sure if that was a Tressel thing or what, but loved it. And, you know, it is interesting that 2002 national title season, we didn't have a bye week.
Right.
We started early.
Yeah.
And we went all the way through. We had a 13-game regular season and beat Miami in the title game to be the first team ever to go 14-0.
You know what they say?
What's
Back
that?
in them days, they were tough. Didn't need that week
Back
off.
in that day.
They needed a week off.
You imagine how good you imagine how good Tough Borland would have been on that team?
Oh, man.
Too damn slow now.
And Jason says, I'm digging, boy, your shirts. Gents with the okay.
He did say both.
Both.
Actually, he corrected himself.
Oh, both. Okay.
Well, thank you, my friend. This is actually quite warm, and I am rather sweaty underneath because the bright lights and the heat is on.
And Carrie, like he said, I am being fair here. I'm not taking sides. Carrie says, you sound really ignorant. I think you already knew that, though. Yes, he's a great coach.
Damn.
That's how she said it, I think.
Well, hey.
Go ahead, Carrie.
Go ahead, Carrie.
Speak your mind.
Yeah.
Speak.
Nick's loving it, too. We love Nick. We love you both.
We love you all.
I think it's Nick and Carrie's both time watching the show here because they've both been commenting a lot. And
Yeah, I
Nick
love it.
said it was his first. I know Carrie's been in here a bunch.
I love it.
Josh says, I do hate seeing Urban on the sideline with his head in his hands. Doesn't send a good vibe to the players or the fans. And Corey Shoemaker says, I agree. We need a statement game to silence the critics. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to just beat the piss out of Purdue?
First play of the game, I want just throw it deep. Because you know what's going to happen. First player of the game, right? You know it and I know it.
Inside zone.
Hut, inside zone, 2 yards. Book it.
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. Launch that sucker down the field.
We came to play, boys.
Is that your bold prediction now? They're going to come out and throw it deep on the first play?
They're not going to. They're not. They're just not. They're just going to hand it off.
Yeah, so your bold prediction will be that they will throw it deep.
Throw it down the field. Just launch that sucker. Who cares if it's not complete? Sean, we mean business today. But what you going to do? 3 yards.
Here, and Mike Weber, for some reason, stutters in the whole first couple games of the season. He was running with his head on fire. Not anymore. Brandon Canfield, play action. I'd be all right with that.
I'm with you, Brandon.
Sean Skelton, I would rather Urban have his head and his hands than be smiling as big as the Indiana coach while they were down.
Oh, he was getting on my nerves after a while. Yeah! Yeah! I'm like, dude, you're losing.
Tom Allen, come on.
Calm down.
Come on, man.
Come
We got to have our own come on.
Come
man
on, man.
section. Pretty good.
Nick says go Bucks.
Nick, we appreciate you, man.
Yes.
Stirring it up for us. We love you.
You and Carrie, we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody in the comments.
What a great show, man. It really was a good show. With all this.
Scott said Carrie's going to get 13 marriage proposals after this show.
Oh, man. J.E. Wags, 7-yard out on the first play. Uh-oh, Chuck Roberts.
Uh-oh. Now we're calling out first plays. Look what we have started. First play, a 7-yard out. J.E. Wags called it.
Hey.
You never know.
Maybe Austin Mack gets his return of the Mack.
It's a run.
That'd be fun.
J.K. Dobbins, inside zone.
Oh, man. Probably
We
will be.
all know it.
Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We are here every Tuesday night at 7:30. The Everything Buckeye Nation show. Give us a like and a share if you would, please. We really appreciate it. Alan Russell, Kerry Lynn, Nick, Chuck, J.E. Wags, David Hemphill. Oh, man.
Oh, 2002 versus 2014. Who would win?
David, we'll have to save that for some bye week talk. We'll talk about that next week.
That's our spoiler. Ooh-wee to make you come back.
2002, 2014. Jim says, when are you going to start a nightly show? We would love it.
We would love it.
Jim, we love you.
We love you. Maybe one day we can make it happen.
We'll be back next week after a big Buckeye win, all cheery, all happy. 7:30, EBSN Online, the Everything Buckeye Nation show. For Corey Boyd, producer G, I'm Jake Smith signing off saying go Bucks and OH.
I-O. Purdue, you're going down, sucker.